pastimes is to just sit and binge watch shows.
You know what's good when you binge watch? Having snacks. And you know where you can get snacks? Not at Wawa in California.
No, it's like AM PM.
Yeah, I know. So again, West Coast Wawa. I'm running out of things to say about Wawa because we do it in every single episode.
I think we should just like start the episode and just go
Snacks.
hashtag Wawa.
Hashtag West Coast Wawa.
Hashtag West Coast Wawa coffee, snacks, sandwiches.
Snacks. And sometimes gas.
You can take that one any which way you want. So last year, the big thing I think on for binge watching was Stranger Things, which that was supposed to come out later this summer. I was totally excited about that. Probably have to review that as well. But what are some of the things? So this is going to be kind of like an episode where we just talk about things that we've binge watched recently. So like, what is something that came out and you just kind of stumbled upon and decided to watch it from beginning to finish?
Well, obviously, anytime Marvel shows come out, I do that. But what I usually binge watch is like stuff over and over again. I don't know what the hell it is. Like I've watched Futurama like 3 times over, and there's like 10 seasons.
Yeah, it's such a great show.
I just can't stop. Instead of watching the shit that I should be watching on my DVR, I'll put on Futurama instead.
Well, I think it's because you know how good it is. It's good, so you know, like, I'll go back and watch that. I know what I'm getting. Versus watching new
like
things.
It's not even like putting it on in the background while I'm like washing dishes or vacuuming or whatever. I'll actually sit down and watch it.
And not get anything done.
Yeah. So I don't know why I keep going back to that. I even like have Friends on my Netflix thing that I just go back and watch random episodes of Friends.
Oh man, I did that last summer. I watched all 10 seasons like in a row, and my wife was like, "Why are you watching this shit? I hate that show." And
Did
I'm
you?
Like, I don't know.
What about Everybody Loves Raymond? Did you ever go back and binge that?
I haven't gone back and binge watched that, but I've watched The Office probably 4 or 5 times all the way through.
Office, I've done binge watched that, even though I've already seen it when it was on air. I'm glad Parks and Rec was on there because I never watched it live. So I definitely binge watched that. I started re-binging that one again.
I've done that one from beginning to
finish.
Is
there such thing as called re-binging?
You might have just coined a new phrase.
Sweet.
Trademark chew on this.
Hashtag re-binge. I've watched Young Justice like a ton of times.
Oh yeah, that's.
Wait, did you hear that news about Young Justice where it's actually going to not be on Netflix now? It's going to be on DC's.
Oh, they're getting their own channel now.
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit. I hope I don't have to pay for it.
It's kind of like I was binge watching Doctor Who and then it left, but now it's on
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, which is okay because I have Amazon Prime. So.
Yeah. Oh, and Amazon Prime will finally be on Apple TV by the end of this year.
Oh, that'll be nice. That'll be real nice. I've been watching it on my PlayStation, so it's.
I don't find myself watching a lot of movies on Netflix. It's always TV shows that I'm always looking to find.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Although, now that Disney signed on with Marvel, I mean, I think Rogue One's going to be on next month.
I've seen Civil War a couple times.
Civil War, I've watched it a couple times. I think the latest, is it Moana on there? I think Moana's going to be on there.
It will be. Zootopia's still on there.
Yeah. So they're, so some of the things like, I don't know if you ever caught like The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
That just came back out.
Yeah, season 3 I think starts here real soon, or it just did.
Oh, It's Always Sunny. That's another one.
Oh, It's Always Sunny. Oh yeah, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think I must have watched 3 or 4 times all the way through, and now season 12 isn't on there just yet. But that show just keeps delivering. It's freaking hysterical.
Bones is done after. Well, Bones already finished, but that was a show that I watched late, and I was binging on that. But then, just like every other show, once the main characters get together, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, and I saw that David Boreanaz is on a new show coming out this fall, which should be interesting. But,
The League is on there.
The League is another show where you could watch over and over again.
Yeah.
It's real. That's a really unique show. It's really super funny. The show that I'm really pleased about, I mean, I loved the first season last year, got very high marks, is Aziz Ansari's Masters of None. And what a great show that was. I think I watched that first season 2 or 3 times, and then watched it again this year right before the second season came out. And again, he knocks it out of the park. He's just so good at like, nailing stereotypes and racial issues, and also but relationship issues, and he just and he starts the series off different
This year.
Yeah, this year, yeah,
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
super good.
I've realized going through like my Netflix library of things that I've watched over and over again. I watch a lot of fucking cartoons, and it's not the kids because they are not watching Voltron.
No, do you watch Voltron season 2? 'Cause I haven't caught that
so
yet.
good.
Yeah.
The new one is the older one was really weird. I don't know if we mentioned this on the podcast before, but what ends up happening in the first Voltron is obviously it's Japanese, but they take the original storyline, which was really freaking bleak, like really bleak, and they changed the story because they didn't think American kids could understand like what the premise was about. Because basically, in the show, you think you land on what was the show? The planet name?
Oh,
I forget.
remember that.
Anyway, the point is that I want to say Eternia, but that's fucking
No, it's
but they in the Japanese version, basically everybody on Earth is like killed.
yeah.
And like they don't. But in the Americanized version of it, they're visiting a different planet, so it's like a little bit different. But anyway, so the new Voltron is really good, and they didn't even like introduce like Prince Lothar, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Yet. So watch the second season of Voltron. It's really good. Yeah, I have so many cartoons on here.
I've watched I think I've watched Arrested Development over and over again, and then
I just started watching Clone Wars again.
I watched Clone Wars all the way through. Although the 6th season, which is the lost episodes,
Yeah, because there's no continuity to
there's
it.
no continuity, so I have a hard time kind of going through those. But New Girl's another one that I really
love that
like.
show.
I think this is the last season now.
Some new things to check out. It's not really binging, but Louis C.K. and David Chappelle came out with some new stuff.
Oh man, yeah, Dave Chappelle came out with 2 specials in a row.
Louis C.K. is only one.
Yeah, and they're great. They're super funny.
Oh, definitely check out Making a Murderer. How are we not? We should be getting paid from Netflix for that. Because like seriously, we're just talking about shit you should be watching too.
Making a Murderer was really interesting. It kind of reminds me of like it's like the version of Serial, but for video. I mean, for watching.
Well, we don't really the episode. Well, this episode's about like binging, so like I can go somewhere different too, not just Netflix. Because that Making a Murderer it just sparked what I had watched on ESPN online, which is ESPN 3, I think. When I say ESPN 3, I want to say like the Ocho afterwards.
The Ocho
from like Dodgeball. Anyway, so ESPN 3, it's the O.J. Simpson documentary.
Oh yeah,
what 4 or 5 parts? Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I watched it in 2 nights. It was like,
and you're like,
so
he did it.
Oh, he so fucking did it. He so fucking did it. The only thing like that's missing from the case is him wearing a shirt and him on video and tape recorder saying, "I fucking killed him. I did it." Like it's so blatantly obvious, and that's not a spoiler too because it's all over the internet. It's not a fucking spoiler, but the things that you find out, like how much racial tension was involved in it, even though you think the defense team did it, those motherfuckers, seriously.
Yeah.
They helped a
were
fucking
good,
murderer get away.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what they were fucking doing, and they played that race card to a T.
It's crazy. I know, and they
But
kept
it's
saying
still
like, "Oh,
good.
we're not going to play that card," but
Because
they
like
did
the
it.
documentary doesn't start off like right. It starts, I think, a little bit about OJ and his background and everything, but then like the second episode or so deals with like the LA riots and all that. I'm like, why the fuck are we talking about this? Like, yeah, I knew what happened around the same time frame.
So it sets
Well,
it up.
it sets it up for like what ends up happening like later on. That I won't spoil.
Wow.
But I mean, everybody kind of knows he did it, so it's not a spoiler.
It's weird how I remember when that documentary came out. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to. And I was like, why do I want to watch that? I already know what happens, But But I also thought the same way. There's a show called The People versus OJ Simpson,
see
and
that
it's
one.
like a 10 or 13
That's
episode.
Cuba Gooding Jr. Right?
Yeah, plays OJ. And the same thing, I was like, why do I 13 episodes? Like, this is bullshit.
You watched it?
I watched the whole thing. I was riveted.
It's on
the
Netflix,
whole
I think, right?
time. Yes. And it's got a stellar cast. I was like, how do these people like sign up for this show? This is dumb.
But isn't that a dramatization of it?
It's not. It's like it's not though.
Okay,
It just
so
does. It just shows.
I've
what
watched the
happened.
documentary.
Yeah.
So if I go back, I'll let you know if it's a a dramatized version of it because obviously the one that's on ESPN is just straight documentary.
Yeah.
It's pretty graphic.
No, this
too.
is like watching a TV show on TV, like
Yeah.
a murder mystery or something.
Episodes. I think 4 and 5 are pretty graphic, so just be wary.
Ooh.
Well, because like they show like the murder
scene.
Like I had never seen the autopsy photos, and they show it.
Oh my god.
And I was like, oh, I didn't fucking need this. It made me hate OJ even more.
Oof.
Like
Well,
it was
a
like
crime
before
of passion. I mean, it was
before
a
it
crime
was
of,
like before it was like I know this guy did it. Like he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then I saw the first. You know how you ever see like on what's it like investigative Discovery Channel?
yeah, ID channel,
Yeah.
which I love that channel.
And they show like the autopsy drawings of it's just like a black and white piece of paper where
and
they
then
show
where the knife marks are, the bullets.
They show that. And I was like, oh my god! And then they show the fucking
that's
pictures.
gross.
I was like, oh
yeah,
fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Well, I mean, who needs to be stabbed that many times? And then he slit her throat, almost cut her head off.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah. You see some of that.
That's messed up.
It's
man.
It's fucking crazy. It makes you angry. It makes you angry because like
he got off.
because it's like it's an ongoing joke. Like he did it. Like it's a sad ongoing joke.
Yeah.
But when you watch the documentary and you watch like the Goldman family being messed up from it, like especially the father, and then you find like because when I remember growing up, like I would see the father and like how upset he was. But like I didn't know all the stuff that the documentary tells you.
No, and I think the
really
Goldmans got the biggest, the shortest end of the stick. It had, I mean, they were just so.
Well, I mean, here's the best part is
like
that
Ron Goldman. Whatever.
It's a slow burn for the Goldmans because like after the civil suit, they've been able to go after him for everything.
That's crazy.
Everything, like
Yeah.
anything.
He'll never get a dime though, dude.
No,
He'll never get a dime.
Well, no, they've been. I don't know how much money they've gotten. That wasn't the point. The point because it deals with OJ after the trial too.
Yeah, they just want to bury him in debt or do
And
something to
everything.
him,
Well, I mean,
get him in jail, but just make his life hell.
Well, when you watch the
essentially.
documentary, you'll understand like how I have no fucking clue. Like the case was just completely like fucked up from the beginning.
Well,
Mark Furman
did not help their case at all. I think
No,
he's the
he didn't
biggest,
help
the
it,
worst.
but the riots have something to do with that too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's definitely worth a watch. It's on ESPN.
Binge watch it.
Yeah, it's on ESPN. Go to the ESPN app on Apple TV and you'll find it.
So talk about another somber thing, but I watched 13 Reasons Why.
I didn't
all
watch
the way
that yet.
through. It's
I think I've been staying away from it.
It's pretty riveting, and then the last episode will just. And you have a daughter, so I don't know if you want to watch it. It's sucker punch you so hard.
I've been trying to stay away from it.
You're crying at the end of it. Really sad.
So you've watched all 13?
Oh yeah, we watched the whole thing.
It's
pretty. It's the beginning and how it begins is like by the end of the first episode, you're like, I'm in. I got to watch this.
Yeah.
I got to find out what happens. In the last episode, holy shit, they didn't hold back. And so it's got a lot of controversy surrounding it.
Yeah.
So
there is a second season though, apparently.
Which I don't know what they're going to be doing with that.
Yeah,
I have no idea. Black Mirror. Have you ever watched Black Mirror?
No, I've been waiting to
You
go back to that.
have to watch that. Everybody out there, if you haven't watched Black Mirror, it's like the Twilight Zone, but it's technologically based. It's like everything is technological. So if you ever watch like Ex Machina or Ex Machina or whatever that movie's called, it's kind of like that. Like every episode, it deals in some technology, but it's real world based. Like for instance, I think this new season had a kid that was recorded doing something, and he got this email that said, in order for us not to report you or show this video of what you're doing, you need to go and do this. And then you find out that this guy has been blackmailing all these different people. And for each of them has to do something that's outside their comfort zone or whatever to complete certain tasks. And then it all culminates to this like really bad thing that happens at the end. And all the episodes are like that. They're all dreary. They all end like
It's almost like a Twilight Zone type thing, right?
M. Night Shyamalan type shit, twists, Twilight Zone. Yeah, but it's like based in like kind of real life. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. Like the very first episode you ever watch caught my attention. It was about the president, the prime minister of Britain, and you find out that the princess, the queen's daughter or whatever, gets kidnapped, and the kidnappers say, "We're going to kill her unless the prime minister screws a pig on live TV." And then he's like, "Yeah, right." And it gets to a point where he's pressured so much that if he doesn't do this, they're going to kill the princess. So he goes through with it. That's the only thing I said. I mean, it's kind of spoiling it, but like
each episode's different.
But when
right?
you watch it, you'll understand like the circumstances and the way it ends. It's fucked up. So
it's a standalone.
There's like 4 episodes per season. It's very short, 4 to 6 episodes per season.
How long is the episode?
And British shows are always like that, like an hour. Like 45 minutes to an hour.
But it's like Twilight Zone, but like
it
different.
is, but it's different. It's all technology based though.
Right.
Every episode's technology based.
Yeah, that's on my radar. I have so much. That's why I'm telling you, like, I have so much shit on my radar to watch. Like, I have so much stuff on my DVR to watch. I'm fucking watching Futurama like 4 times over.
I'm like binge watching Samurai Jack right now because I still haven't watched the last season yet. Yeah.
The Killing. You ever watch that?
Oh man, yes.
So that was a show.
I didn't like that last season though.
Well, it was. You know why? Because they
went off format. They went
because they had to because like Netflix signed them on just to finish the story.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that's what's Netflix is great for that stuff. Where, I mean, they started it all. Where like your show that you freaking love because. Studio executives are fucking morons. Don't understand like they got a hit. Like if you believe in the hit, like stay by it. Like Firefly got canceled. Like seriously, if Netflix was around when Firefly got canceled, Firefly would still be on Netflix.
Yeah.
But anyway, The Killing has the guy from Suicide Squad, Rick Flag. He's in it.
Yeah.
He also RoboCop. He's in it. The woman, I've never seen that woman before in anything before.
She was in World War Z with Brad Pitt. I think she played the wife.
Oh, she was.
Yeah.
That's an odd pairing.
I know.
But the show is really good.
The first 2 seasons is just on one case alone, I think.
Yeah, and then the third and fourth season have something to do with somebody's past, I think.
The woman's past case that she wasn't able to solve. She like figures something out.
But like it's pretty like in the beginning I couldn't stand that guy. The guy who plays what the hell's his name? The guy who played Rick Flag.
Kinnaman something?
No, not even close. Oh yeah. Wait.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he's got 2 names.
Oh.
Joel Kinnaman is
Joel
his
Kinnaman.
his stage name.
Okay.
His
I like that guy. If they put him in some better stuff, that dude was really gritty and real. I mean, but
he didn't work in Suicide Squad.
No, it was kind of like what he was kind of like channeling that dude, Josh Duhamel in Transformers. He kind of was like that.
He works really well in The Killing. He is.
Yeah.
If it's kind of like. I want to put him on that same level, but it's like watching Life as a House and watching Hayden Christensen in that movie, and then like, wow, we're in for a treat for Attack of the Clones. And then you watch Attack of the Clones, you're like, what the fuck?
What happened?
Right. It's like night and day watching Kinnaman and Suicide Squad.
That's a director
issue. And then watching The Killing, because The Killing, he is great in it. I can't praise him enough. In that show, so I think I gravitate a lot towards when I'm watching a drama. It's always a murder mystery type thing. Like I'm watching. I'm still trying to get through The Fall. Have you ever seen that with Gillian Anderson?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I heard that's really good too.
It's pretty good, and it's got the guy who is in 50 Shades of Grey. He plays the main guy, Grey.
Dorian, something
Dorian
like
or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
He's the protagonist. He's the protagonist
antagonist,
and well, actually, he's both.
Kind of. Interesting.
Kind of.
He's like Gollum. Smeagol and Gollum.
There's a reason why I say it. I can't tell you why.
Okay, so I have
something
to watch
happens in like the third season.
Oh shit! I gotta wait that long.
Well, there's only 8 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a British show.
Yep. Those Brits.
I like it that way though. It's like no filler episodes.
Yeah, that's true. It's just one long story.
Yeah, I mean, because you take like what 20 episodes to fucking solve a murder. What the fuck?
They do some other shit in between.
Well,
it's not
clearly
like the Flash.
it's right there.
It's not like the Flash though, where you 5 out of the 24 episodes are about Savitar. The rest are
I don't even
about
fucking
other
get
shit.
into the Flash right now.
There's a show that my wife and I like to watch. It's called Love. They've had 2 seasons of that. It's pretty good. It stars like the lady from Community, that show Community, which I haven't actually gone back to binge watch that because I know the last couple seasons Yahoo was showing it. It wasn't on NBC anymore. I think Yahoo showed the last 2 seasons.
It's on Hulu for some reason. Community refuses to go on Netflix.
I know it should though, man. I really want to go back and watch that show because like the first couple seasons I loved. So yeah, Love is really good. About like relationships and stuff like that.
What about the Clone Wars? Have you finally got? We just talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about. I finally got through it. I got through the whole thing. Like I said, the 6th season.
Was it everything that I
episodes.
told you was?
Dude, the last 3 episodes are freaking fantastic. About Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order. It was so amazing. Good. It's amazing. And then when you watch her in Rebels, when she finally like confronts him and fights him, it's like heartbreaking.
Remember, I was getting you. It took you years to go and watch that. I was telling you constantly. Like seriously, it fixes the prequel somehow.
But see, the problem is that I was so desensitized with everything. Like after the prequels came out and they were showing, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do this animated show, this and that." I didn't care anymore. I was like, "Forget it." And so I let that go for years. And then once Rebels came out and I made myself watch that, I was like, okay, I need to go back and watch Clone Wars. And yeah, it's totally everything everyone said. It's so good.
It gives you this, it kind of, it fixes a lot of things that you're missing. The emotional, like even Anakin is better in that show. Anakin is way better in that show.
Oh, for sure.
On screen. And I honestly, truly believe it has nothing to do with Christensen's acting ability. He's not the best actor in the world, but he is not that bad.
I'm actually kind of bummed out he didn't do the voice of it. I mean, it's Dave Filoni is the guy. I mean, he's the one that's, fixed a lot of those issues. He's really, he developed all those stories to kind of fill in the gaps, like you said, that you're missing. And you actually care about the clone troopers and you care about all these characters that eventually turn on the Jedi. I mean, it's a lot. It's pretty trippy watching that show.
Yeah, it makes you actually care about the clones too.
Yeah, it's crazy. What about, have you seen, there's Orange is the New Black, which was a Netflix original.
I'm having a hard time getting into that.
It's, the first couple seasons are fantastic. And then it kind of like, it drags a little bit.
I know it's good. But like I think I've only seen like 1 episode, and I feel like it's the same thing with like I feel like it's the same thing with like Buffy. Buffy took me an entire season to get into it. Mm-hmm. Doctor Who took me, no joke, when what is it, Eccleston?
Yeah,
when they rebooted Doctor Who, that first episode of Doctor Who with him in it, it took me a year on Netflix
just to
finish
get used to him.
The first episode.
Yeah.
It took me a year to finish 1 hour episode.
Because I know a lot of people that like Eccleston, but I wasn't one of them. I ended
up liking him. I actually didn't like Tennant when he first started because I started liking Eccleston. Yeah. Eccleston or whatever his name is.
I was really into Tennant, and I was really bummed.
He was my favorite. He ended up being my favorite.
Yeah,
of the new Who, because I don't
wonder
watch
who they're going to get
ones.
now, because they've been leaning toward getting a woman, actually.
That's the rumor, anyway.
Yeah, which hey, it
could be anybody. It's Doctor Who.
Right.
That's the point. Why does it have to keep being a white guy?
Right. Yeah, I think they're going to go diverse too. I hope they do.
Because he can come back as anything.
Yeah, and actually, it would add a whole new dynamic to it, honestly, and a whole new set of stories. It'd be really interesting.
Especially if they go with that rumor, she actually has a show on Netflix.
Yes, it's called Chewing Gum, and she's British. That show is really funny, and she's different. She's just like really out there, but the show is like really funny, and I think that'd be an interesting choice for Doctor Who, but I think she could pull it off. What else? There's something I started watching last year and I caught up to it. But there's a show called Shameless that was on Showtime.
What's
It's
his
still
face?
going.
What's his name?
William H. Macy.
Yeah, great actor.
He's won all sorts of awards for that show. The show it's so funny, and yet so man, I just can't even explain that show. It's just like a rated R Seinfeld or something like that. Each show is like an hour long, but it's just like this ongoing story with the family, and every one of the family members has some sort of story going on. And there's usually some sort of story arc and stuff like that. But that show's still going strong. I think the 8th season's coming up pretty soon.
It's on Netflix though.
The first 7 seasons are on Netflix.
No, but like
the newer seasons are on Showtime.
Oh, right. That's what I meant. If you haven't watched this show, it's on Netflix, and you should be binge watching it. Is Dexter?
Oh,
Speaking of like crime drama movies or
yes.
shows, sorry. If you have never watched Dexter, what are you waiting for? I will say this though.
Watch the first 5 seasons.
Yeah,
bail.
you could use your make up something for how the series ends. Like he wakes up in Bob Newhart's bed or something.
Man.
Oh, speaking of really bad series finales, Roseanne's coming back.
Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know how I feel about that. I'll watch it.
So if you've never seen Roseanne, turn this part off, because what I can't figure out is how they're gonna figure out how to bring Dan back.
Yeah, there were some rumors because I know that she did a blog 7 or 8 years ago that talked about where the Roseanne characters were at that particular time, and what she said about Dan was that he had faked his death or something like that. I don't know. According to reports, I think they're saying that they're just going to pretend that never happened. That they're just he never died.
Sucks.
It's weird, but I think if they're trying to explain it, it's probably going to be weirder. Also, there were 2 Beckys on the show, if you remember.
Yeah.
One was played, I can't remember the original actress, I cannot remember her name.
Yeah.
And Sarah Chalk is the other one who went on Scrubs,
Yep.
which is another great show to binge watch.
I don't think that's on Netflix anymore.
I don't think it is, but it's if you can find it,
definitely.
It's such
Definitely
a good
watch
show. Except for the last season, but
the last season got like a pre-Netflix
so
finish.
Terrible, God.
Like if Netflix picked it up, it probably would have had that last season.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to. Wasn't it on Fox?
It was on NBC, and the last season went to ABC.
Oh, ABC. Okay,
Yeah. Zach Braff wasn't in maybe in the first episode or something like that.
He was sporadically in the 8 episodes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
What's his face's brother was on it? The hell's his name? James Franco's brother was in it.
Oh, really?
He plays the douchey rich kid.
Yeah, that's right. He looks like a douche.
Well, both
something about like James Franco. I mean,
That's
but his brother
joke.
though looks like a douche.
Well, more so. He plays a douche. Like the first time I've ever seen him in anything, he played a douche in the first 21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street, right? Him and the gym teacher.
He shot my dick.
Have you ever watched? Did you ever watch Bates Motel?
No. I heard good things about that show too. See, that's a problem again.
Yeah,
there's so many things I should be watching, but I'm watching fucking Futurama.
We watched that. It's Norman Bates and how he grew up and all that stuff.
The mother is still alive in the episode or show.
The last season just ended not too long ago, so I think Netflix only has the first 4 seasons, but they finish it. Has a finality to it.
A series finale?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has a finality to it. I want to talk a little bit about some British shows that I really dug. I don't know if you've ever seen a show called Merlin, but it's about King Arthur and
that was on
Merlin.
NBC.
No, it was BBC. Yeah.
So then I must be thinking of a different show then, because there was a Merlin on NBC.
NBC did a TV movie with Sam O'Neill, the guy from Jurassic Park. He played the magician. He played Merlin. Yeah. No, Merlin's a BBC show that deals with King Arthur.
Yep.
And Merlin before they were friends, and back in that time, they were killing sorcerers because they thought they were all bad.
Hmm.
And King Arthur wasn't king yet. His dad was king, who's played by the guy who was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
So there's no sword in the stone in this version.
I believe there is at one point, but it's mostly about their relationship, Merlin and Arthur's relationship.
Because I thought the way King Arthur became King Arthur was because he pulled the sword from the stone, not because he was of bloodline.
Yeah, but they kind of changed that around a little bit.
Okay.
And it's actually much better. I think it's better told this way. Another BBC show, I don't think it's on Netflix though, but Robin Hood. Robin Hood was another one where it's just 3 or 4 seasons, and that had a finality to it. I didn't like how it ended with Robin Hood, but the first 3 seasons are awesome. Just watching him and the Sheriff of Nottingham and like the the Merry Men and all that stuff. That was a really good show. That was really fun. Man, literally we can go on and on and on. There's so many shows.
There's another one that I binge watched the shit out of a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but last year I think it was. I was late to the game for Sons of Anarchy.
I still haven't watched that yet.
It's really good. It's especially the first 3 or 4 seasons, and it has a pretty decent series finale. Like that's the problem that I have with like a show like Dexter. I love that show. It probably went on 2 seasons too much.
Long. Yeah,
and it had a really shitty series finale.
Yeah,
but even then, I highly recommend going to watch that show.
Yeah, for sure.
You will be disappointed in the last 2 seasons, especially the series finale. But I loved if I wish I could like do the Men in Black thing and not remember Dexter and watch it again because there's that
the flashy thing.
Yeah, when Dexter first when I first watched the first episode, Dexter hooked right away, and this was before Netflix.
Oh yeah,
so I had
you had to watch that shit every week.
Yeah, I had to wait for
Showtime.
Yeah, the only way to actually binge watch it is if you like didn't watch it when it premiered, and then you watch it like the next day or save it for 4 or 5 episodes. But I never did that. I watched it every time.
So the other, I mean, obviously we haven't mentioned the Marvel shows because we've talked in nauseum about them, but yeah, Daredevil season 1. If you're gonna watch a Marvel show, that's the one you got to watch.
Yes.
The other ones are okay. I mean, pretty good, but that one's I think the best one.
Oh yeah, season 1 sets the tone for. It's still the best out of all of them. I would say probably like season 1 Daredevil. Probably Luke Cage would be my number 2.
Mm-hmm. Jessica Jones
and
Daredevil season
2 are kind of tied a little bit.
Yeah.
And then if there was something else to put there in this spot, and then something later, then it would be like Iron Fist. I'm making up a show just to put Iron Fist even lower.
Yeah, we talked in nauseam about that.
Yeah. What else is going? Well, there's a rumor. And there was a thing that we posted on our Facebook page about a Knights of the Old Republic show that might go on Netflix.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for years too. Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot of announcements this summer, either at Comic-Con or at D23, because I know D23 happens every 2 years, and it's supposed to happen this year. So, and then Kathleen Kennedy has gone on record saying that they are going to announce this summer their next standalone movie, whatever comes after Han Solo. So there's a lot of rumors about what that may be. Hopefully,
Obi-Wan.
I really hope it's not like the story of Neon Numb or something like that. Like I'm really hoping it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. I cannot see why they wouldn't do it because people are begging for it. A lot of people.
Story for it.
Yeah.
So did you watch Breaking Bad?
Oh man, that's another one I've watched probably 3 or 4 times over. And now they have Better Call Saul on there.
I haven't gotten into that yet.
It's awesome. It's just as good as Breaking Bad.
Really?
I'm not joking. Huh. It's the same guys, the same tone.
Isn't it a prequel? Though?
Well, we always talk about how prequels suck because we know where they're heading or what's going to happen. But for whatever reason, they've cracked the code on this show because you're very interested to see this guy fall and become who he becomes. they have, and there's a lot of cameos that aren't just cameos for the sake of being cameos. They actually have a part in the story. So you see Tuco again. Um, uh, you see,
Like that old guy. Is
oh,
that
Mike. You
right?
see Mike. He hasn't come across Walter White yet, but at some point that's going to happen,
Right.
or
Because
you'll
it
hear about
can
it
only
or
go so
something.
long.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I should have mentioned when you were talking about British shows?
Hmm.
This is how you know we don't take notes. Broadchurch.
Oh, Broadchurch. That's another David Tennant show.
Great. I think the third season's actually
I haven't
coming on right
watched.
now, but the first
Yeah,
two seasons are on Netflix. So good. So
I'm gonna
fucking
have to.
good.
I have to catch that.
You know what's crazy about that show is that there's a show in the US that he plays the same character.
Yeah, it's really
I
weird.
forget the name of it, but but they changed who the murderer is in the US
Mm.
version of it. Anyway, go watch Broadchurch. It's so fucking good. I have not finished. Luther was another one I wanted to mention.
Oh,
with
Idris
British
Elba.
shows.
Oh,
I think I'm only like halfway through the first season, and again because I've been watching like fucking cartoons over and over again, I forgot to go back and finish it on Netflix.
oh, you know what's a good historical show? Watch Hell on Wheels. That
I
was an
haven't watched that
AMC
one.
show. It's really good. Really,
Oh,
really good. It's about the building of the railroad.
oh, okay.
Super, super good. It's got Common in it and
Did
some
you
other people.
ever watch 30 Rock?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually finished that.
It's
I
a
watched
good.
that all the way through a
It's
couple
a good.
times.
It's an easy watch.
Yeah.
It's really funny, and it's a pretty good series finale.
I thought it was pretty good. I think my
Uh,
go-to is Parks and Rec, though.
the
I
Caesar
think I've
series
seen that
finale.
so many times. Yeah.
You know what? I think The Office had a pretty good series finale too.
They did. They have a pretty good ending.
The problem with it was that Michael left for 2 seasons.
And it really, yeah, it hurt.
You
It
know,
hurt a little bit.
the first season after Michael left was not great, but I feel like once they established who the district manager was going to be, instead of having like a different district manager for a while, once they established that, that season was pretty decent. I think because I think if they had the last season as the season right after Michael left, it probably could have kept going
Oh, yeah.
because
I
like
know what you mean.
because that season after Michael left, they really had no idea
They
what
put
was going.
James Spader in there, which was,
He was fucking awesome. Will Ferrell surprisingly wasn't that good in it.
he wasn't as funny as I had hoped.
Yeah, he was not as good. But once Spader came on, it started getting a lot better.
Yeah, it was just weird. He was such an interesting character.
Yeah, he was funny too. So
Which, speaking of James Spader, I just watched Pretty in Pink the other day.
like for
And
the first
he's in it.
time,
Yeah, no, I haven't watched it in a long time. I put it on. I was a huge John Hughes fan in the '80s, man. So I've watched all those shows,
Yeah.
like Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles, Some Kind of Wonderful, like all those movies. And I'm watching this movie and I'm like, oh, fucking James Spader, that's right. Like him and Andrew McCarthy look so young, and like Molly Ringwald and all that. And I think James Spader, out of everybody on that show, is probably the most famous. Although John Cryer, I mean, was on Two and a Half Men, and
yeah, but he disappeared for a really
he
long time.
disappeared for a long
before.
time. Yeah.
Spader was always going strong. So I got a quick question.
Mhm.
So we've been talking about series finales. What's your favorite series finale of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah, favorite series finale. Spoilers, by the way.
Oy, that's hard. Well, I could talk about the ones that I really enjoyed, and maybe it'll come to me because that's a really big question. Okay, so I liked The Office's ending, especially when Michael Scott shows up at the end, which was pretty awesome. And then I loved the Parks and Rec ending because they gave everybody an ending and they fast forwarded. It was like a time travel type thing
Yeah, it
to
was
see
really
where
good.
they all ended up. I love that. I can tell you what my least favorite one was Seinfeld. I did not like that
Oh
ending.
yeah.
Friends was okay. That last season went on a little too long.
Yeah, it was
that
like
show.
probably, again like 2 or 3 seasons too long.
I'm kind of feeling that way with Big Bang Theory right now. It just keeps going and going, but somehow I don't know.
I feel like I just watch it to watch.
At this point I am. I mean, some things make me
Sometimes
laugh,
they're
but
funny,
not.
but
Yeah.
more often than not, it's not funny anymore.
No.
Because again, like they become caricatures of themselves.
Right.
Like Joey was not the smartest person in the world, but he was a fucking dumbass by the end of that show.
Yeah.
Like, and then like you knew fuck, Monica was like anal retentive, but she was like
Over the top.
psychotic by the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
And Chandler just completely changed. He became a pussy.
He just looked like he was phoning it in the rest of the show.
Well, it was no
toward
longer
the end.
funny anymore. Like he was
Yeah.
the one that was always sarcastic, and he couldn't be sarcastic anymore because of Monica.
Right. She, took his manhood away.
Yeah. All right. So other series finales. I'll tell you one of my favorites right now. While you're
Okay.
thinking,
All right.
one of my favorites of all time was Quantum Leap.
Oh, that was a good one.
It was like 2 or 3 episodes.
2 or 3 episode arc. Yeah.
And it you had no idea what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And some people actually didn't like it, but I loved it because like it was so tragic and so beautiful at the same time.
Yeah.
So spoilers, the show's like almost 20 years old, so I don't give a shit. So
fast forward.
yeah. So basically Sam meets God, and God tells him like, no, I can't send you home.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you're actually fixing my mistakes. I need you. And the show basically ends where I think it was like a black screen actually.
Didn't it say like he never left again?
He never left home again.
Yeah.
And it was so sad, but at the same time it was like so beautiful because like who was the guy that he was always with?
He let that guy free. He like let him go live a life, if I remember right.
Yeah, well, he fixed his marriage.
His marriage, yeah.
But
he keeps talking about his wife throughout the whole show.
No, he keeps talking
like
about
that.
his like Al. Al is his name.
Yeah.
Al always talks about like his ex-wife number 3 or soon to be
Right.
ex-wife number 4.
Yeah.
Like he always talks about that, but then like midway through like the 3rd season, you find out why that happens.
Yeah.
And Sam chooses not to fix that problem with Al, and then like later on, and Al is pissed, but he understands why he doesn't do it. But then in the series finale, he leaps one more time. And then he fixes Al's thing, and Al ends up with like 10 kids. He's happily married. Like he never had divorces again. He married that woman, which was, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then, but Sam tragically never leaps home because he's in the Quantum Leap, constantly fixing God's issues, which I thought was awesome. That was one of my favorite.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, because you would think like most shows would just end with a happy ending where he just pops up back where he's supposed to be. And keeps going.
It was crazy because he didn't get the happy ending. It was Al
that did. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sam just kept.
That was good.
I will forever love Scott Bakula because of that show.
Yeah, man, he's amazing. Even though Enterprise was a shitty show, I liked
How
him.
many Emmys did that guy win? Because I feel like he should have won like every single year.
I'm sure he won like Saturn Awards and things like that.
Because every episode, it's kind of like oh man, what's her name?
It's almost like a historical
Orphan Black,
thing
from
too.
the woman who in Orphan Black, Tatiana.
Yeah,
I'm saying her name. I'm butchering her name.
That's another one to binge watch.
Orphan Black. She plays. It's not the same thing as what Scott Bakula did, but she plays
multiple versions of herself
in the same fucking scene.
Yeah,
and she wasn't even nominated until like last year. I think she won last year.
Yeah,
but she went through 2 seasons or 3 seasons without ever even getting nominated, which I find fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
because she played four at that point. It was like four convincing different characters. She played a housewife. She played like a badass. She played like a punker at one point.
Something like that.
Something weird, yeah. But they were all 4 different characters, and she wasn't even nominated.
Yeah,
it was like a travesty that she wasn't even nominated or won
until last year.
One of the ones I hate the most series finales was is Dexter.
Yeah.
I liked Sons of Anarchy ending. Breaking Bad was
Breaking Bad had a really good ending.
Yeah, Breaking Bad.
The whole last season was
so basically what ends up in Breaking Bad, like the ending in Breaking Bad. I won't spoil about what happens in Breaking Bad because that's how much I love the show.
Mm-hmm.
What happens at the series finale of Breaking Bad, I wanted to happen to Dexter.
Oh yeah, that would.
But it never
great.
happens.
No,
they fucking chickened out.
They messed it up.
They thought it was more tragic that he was going to be by himself cutting wood.
Yeah, he's a logger.
Yeah, I was like, that's bullshit. I'm like, that's gonna drive him even more insane to kill more. Like now he's just gonna be on a killing spree in Canada.
Well, he finds his humanity. That was the whole.
The way that but the writers were trying to say like they thought it was more a bigger punishment for Dexter to live a life where there was no Deb and he had to live alone. I was like, Well, you've got a psychotic person, basically a serial killer here, who was grounded in the fact that he had a sister that he loved that
Right.
would bring him back from the light, from the dark side or whatever, from his dark passenger, I think he was calling it.
Dark Passenger.
Right. So
Season
like
2.
now that person's gone, and you put this person in the middle of the woods in just his thoughts. Nothing good can come about this. Nothing.
There was a murder spree in the woods.
Like if anything, he's probably gonna exact his not revenge, but his fucking psychosis out on other people. Like there's no reason why, to me, the way that the show ended, that didn't make me think Dexter was gonna go on another killing spree.
Well, because the premise of that show is like he learned a code from his police officer dad, and like he was adopted, and he kills only bad guys, like people that are awful, like child molesters.
Yeah, but now he uses a chainsaw and an axe in his everyday life.
He looks at the tree like it's a felon, and he's like, ugh. That only works for so long. Anyway, yeah, there's so many. We could go on and on for hours. There's so many
listed
shows.
like 50 shows.
So we literally listed like a million shows that for people out there to watch.
You're welcome.
You're You're welcome. Yeah, so get on Netflix. Hulu, Amazon Prime. I mean,
basically the major two. I mean, I think almost everybody has Amazon Prime and Netflix.
Yeah, I think
if you
so
can't
too.
find it on Netflix, it's probably going to be on Amazon Prime. And the one show that we did mention was the documentary for OJ, and that's free on ESPN.
Right, so you can watch that.
there you
Hulu does have their own. Like now they're starting to have their own shows.
The only reason I ever wanted to go to Hulu was Community.
Yeah,
but I'm still
now that's
holding out.
not
I
it.
refuse to give them any more. I refuse to pay out any more service providers.
Give us Community now, damn it.
Yeah, get on Netflix.
All right. Well, that was episode 85 of Chew on This, a Nerds United podcast. I'm BJ.
Vic.
Till next time, folks, go binge on some shows. Chew on that.
Later.